the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mosette, and here's your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mosette, and welcome to episode 513 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show as your Seattle Seahawks get ready to take on the Los Angeles Rams. So it must be time to ram it. Let's meet the posse for this episode. First, the yin to my yang. He rams it whenever he can. It's Matt from merry old England. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Matt. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. Pretty good.
Good. Are you all rested up?
Am I rested? Yeah, well, I've had a week off work. I had a root canal done.
Oh.
So I thought, so I'm taking a week off. But I'm fine, I'm good.
Good, I'm glad. Also, we hope he's fine, is our news hound, who is always ramming our show with news, and it's Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I am doing relatively well, thank you.
Relatively well, thank you. Yeah. And then, of course, the man who plans the Ram, the 12-Man Fan Jam with his plan. It's Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
I also drive a Ram, just FYI. So.
Do you drive a Ram?
Trader.
I do. I have a Dodge Ram.
Okay. I won't hold that against you.
You get inside a Ram every day.
Every day I'm inside a Ram, yeah.
Okay. Yikes. And on that note, please welcome back to the show. If you've listened to the show before in the first 4 seasons, he was a regular, and then real life caught up with him, and he actually had to do something on Friday nights other than hang out with us. But now, we're getting back. We don't know how long we'll be thankful every show we get him. Back live from behind enemy lines just down the street from 49er headquarters in sunny California. It's Statsman Mark! Mark, welcome back!
Hey, everybody.
Woo!
Man, it's great to be here, and as a gesture of my own, I've decided to stand for the entire show.
He's going to stand for the whole show, everyone.
Oh, the boys are back in town.
At his age, it's probably the best.
Oh, it's been a while since we've all been together like this, reunited, and it feels so good. And so does this show. It feels great when we get into it. That's what she said. Hey, Michael Bolton, what do you say?
Boys, let's get to it.
All right, let's get to it. The show's broken into 4 quarters and a halftime. First quarter, we'll have news. The second quarter, we will have a recap of that 48-16 win over the I almost said the Baltimore Colts. The Indianapolis Colts.
Wow.
At halftime, it's the best Seahawk-themed play-along game on the internet. 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
And who won last time? I can't remember.
I did.
No, you didn't.
No, that
I
would be
did the
Matt,
research.
because he knew what question you were going to ask before you asked it.
Yeah, right.
Everybody
yeah.
knows.
Oh,
I think
and we'll
everybody
talk
knows.
about that at halftime. Y'all be prepared this time.
We didn't know Sean Alexander ran through 139 yards.
Yeah,
in that
yards.
game, honestly.
Yeah, I know. You just wait. You just wait till halftime. Because if
Number
you
of
listen to the
passes
I've done no
last show,
research. I've done no research this week, so it's all good.
yeah, well, it
I
wouldn't help
didn't
you.
bother either because we let the cat out of the bag last week.
Yeah, and I will tell you it when I help you this week. Quarter 3, we have a special 12-Man Fan Jam Show travel guide if you're going to Los Angeles. We have weather, we have injuries, we have all kinds of information about the upcoming game between your Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday. We take all that, we spin it around, and we spit out predictions, game balls, and prognostications in the fourth quarter. But before we do all that, please like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show, and also on Twitter at Seahawk Positivity. Email 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. Let's get to the first quarter and the news. Yes, it's the 12-Man Fan Jam Show news report with news of the NFL worth mentioning. Brought to you this week by our sponsor, the Indianapolis Colts car tires. Peak performance for a little bit, and then pow! A blowout. Will, what you got for us?
Well, Moses, my first item is the latest dispatch from the ongoing dumpster fire that is the Los Angeles Chargers. who
Love those guys.
technically were the home team in last Sunday's game against the Eagles, but were badly outnumbered by Eagle fans, even in their 27,000 seat stadium.
No.
To the point where Eagles tackle Jason Peters said the Chargers are basically playing 16 road games this year.
Ouch.
But it gets worse for the Chargers, believe it or not.
It gets worse.
Because they're not even doing well with people watching on TV. According to Fred Rogan of NBC LA, in the Los Angeles area, the Chargers home game against the Eagles generated lower ratings than the Saints-Dolphins game from London, which, if you're not on the Pacific Coast, that game started at 6:30 in the morning. And it still got better ratings than an afternoon game against the quote-unquote hometown team.
Oh
Ooh,
gosh,
man.
we had Mark Ty Turner on a couple weeks ago from that area, and we'll ask Zorny here in a minute. But man, he guaranteed they'll be gone in 2 years. It's just awful. Zorny, do you know much about the LA situation?
No, I mean, when I heard they couldn't even sell out a 27,000 seat stadium, I mean, that's strange in itself, but I just figured, that kind of move, relocating, it's too much for a lot of teams. And clearly it's, it's affected them. They're more comfortable on the road. They're actually a great road team to bet on.
Wow.
So
Those opinions are opinions of Sassy and Mark and Sassy and Mark only. They do not reflect the entire show. Okay. Matt, over in England, everybody really happy with the what we presented you on Sunday?
Well, it was awful. But the interesting thing is the Chargers would be probably considered. Obviously, we have a very different philosophy over here in Britain. We like the underdogs. We cheer for the underdogs. We think, if you're bound to lose, you're going to get much more support than if you're going to win. Over in America, you're all about winning. So if teams aren't winning, fans ain't paying, top dollar to go and watch losing teams. Over here, completely the other way around. So maybe the Chargers should come over here more often. It's probably one of the reasons they sent the Jacksonville Jaguars over. But as far as the Saints game and the Dolphins game, that was awful. And the only thing that kept putting me off was the fact that Sean Payton does look like Zoolander. That was the only thing that kept putting me off.
I never really thought about that.
Fish face.
Every time he does that little pout look, and I'm like, my goodness, that is blue steel.
See, I still think he's the kid from Malcolm in the Middle, but that's just me.
He does look like a kid from Malcolm in the Middle. Mm-hmm. That is a good comparison.
Yeah, I have a hard time trusting anyone who wears visors. That's
except John Gruden. He's good.
Yeah.
Doesn't trust him. He likes him. He just doesn't trust him.
Don't trust him.
Okay, that's fair.
Kids, there's a message here. Don't trust anybody in a visor. Lesson learned, Will. What's your second story so that we may learn?
Well, Bengals linebacker Carl Lawson learned a valuable lesson about not wearing a mouthpiece.
Uh-oh.
This does not sound good, but continue.
Well, the Bengals and Browns played last weekend, and the Bengals demolished the Browns because it's the Browns. Lawson nearly got a sack on Browns quarterback Deshaun Kaiser, who, unfortunately for Lawson, got the ball out of his. But you know what? He lost more than a sack on that play. Quote, when I'm bringing him down, I see my teeth just in the air. I'm like, oh, crap. It didn't hurt. I just saw my teeth in the air. Because he got his two front teeth knocked out on that play.
Wow.
All he needs for Christmas is his two front teeth.
Yep. Well, his fellow linebacker, Kevin Minter, didn't let him forget it either. You're going to listen now, ain't you, Minter said. I've been telling him since training camp, you got to wear your mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not want to? I don't understand that.
I don't get it either because, it's obviously you can lose some teeth. I mean, as we have seen. But, a good mouthpiece can take some of the likelihood of a concussion away if you get hit under the chin.
Yeah, so. It does. It has a shock absorption aspect to it, and it can prevent concussion. But not only can you lose your teeth, you could bite your tongue off.
Yeah.
Sam Adkins, when he was with the playing for the Seahawks, got drilled under the chin, put his teeth through his upper lip and actually pulled his mustache into his mouth.
Oh!
He had to spit out half of his mustache after that hit.
Oh my god.
Well, I've got to Google pictures of that right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember Baldwin lost some teeth on the first game that Russell played? Remember?
Yeah. Hawks at
Yeah,
Cardinals.
he would have caught that touchdown pass, but I'm taking it for granted he had a mouthpiece. I guess that's a stupid question, but
Yeah, but the mouthpiece, typically it just does the top teeth, and the bottom teeth typically are not covered by a mouthpiece because it's formed to the top teeth, not necessarily to the bottom. So
True.
Unless you have one of those weird like running back looking ones, and has like the thing like there's a square piece outside your mouth, and on the inside I believe it's double sided, but.
Well,
Yeah, if there's a piece of equipment, if I was playing football, if there was a piece of equipment I would never forget, the mouthpiece would be second on my list. So
Yeah, we all know the first one.
yes.
Helmet.
Yeah, it's your helmet.
it's strange because a lot of these guys like to use these things as pacifiers anyway, so it's shocking
That's
that
true.
it wasn't in his mouth.
It's very true.
But I don't think when Russell takes his out of his mouth and just clips it at the top of his visor on his helmet, I always sit there and think it's not very hygienic, man. It's just not very hygienic. You shouldn't be doing that sort of thing. But then I forget that he's got like miracle injury water anyway, so it's not going to be a problem.
The nano bubbles keep him healthy. It's all good.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Russell isn't very hygienic.
Put it down.
No, not hygienic at all.
We learned it today.
I dream of hygiene. I don't know.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, thank you, Will, for those wonderful news stories.
You're quite welcome.
And that will be the end of the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
All right, coming up on this episode of 12 Man Fan Jam Show, lots of show left. Sites to visit in Los Angeles, trivia to be taken. But coming up next, we review last week's victory against the Indianapolis Colts. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12 Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Straight up now, shoot me.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Yes, welcome to the second quarter of episode 513 of your 12-man Fan Jam Show. Okay, gentlemen, let's take some time and look back one more time at last week's game as the Seahawks defeated the Indianapolis Colts 46-18. Didn't quite start off that way. Statsman Mark, it's certainly a tale of two halves. Tell us how you felt going into halftime.
Well, it was, 15-10?
Yes.
So,
And we had just missed a field goal, which I said was the perfect ending to that half, but move on.
right. Now I must confess it was actually a work day, so all I saw was the 8-minute condensed version.
Lucky.
Okay, so I know, huh? But the bottom line is it is a tale of two halves. It's a slow start in the first half, and then once the defensive touchdown starts happening, that's when things are going to work out well. But if this was 2 or 3 years ago, we're up 24-0 or 24-3 at halftime. I mean, we get the win, and that's the most important thing. They just happen differently now.
Yeah.
So that final score wasn't indicative of what really happened, I don't think. But
yeah. So Dustin, I know you and I kind of talked online our game day thread, and I actually put up, "Are we about to lose to one of the worst teams in football at home on national television?" And I think your response was, "Yeah, looking that way."
Yeah, and it certainly did. We couldn't get anything going, and then we had linemen dropping like flies, and the pass rush, they couldn't get to anybody to do anything. So yeah, the whole thing was rough, man. It was first
ugly.
half. Yeah, I'm just glad that you can't win a game in the first half because that would have been terrible. But it all ended up being unicorns and rainbows and sunshine and shit. So that's good.
We'll get to unicorns in a minute. Matt, your thought on the first half there?
Oh, well, I was battling lots, so it's late in the day already for me to be watching
Right.
it. Really, I mean, it was started at 1:30 in the morning, so I was already sort of tired when it's kicked off. The adrenaline got going though, so by halftime I wanted to trade Jimmy Graham to anyone that would have him. I wanted to
Yeah.
Blair Walsh was going to be slung up the flagpole and hung out to dry. I had plans for Daryl Bevel, which would have involved probably being covered in concrete and dumped in Puget Sound. I had, but the rage at half time, and I thought I just can't understand how this nonsense, how does this nonsense happen? And I nearly went to bed. I didn't. I mean, as I say, it was early in the morning. I didn't, but it was the first time ever that I've actually sat there and thought I'm going to go to bed halfway through a Seahawks game.
Well, what's funny is watching it with Lil Mo, and I'll get to Will because Will was at the game, so I want to get that perspective definitely. But Lil Mo gets pretty emotional when the Seahawks lose, and we just kind of looked at each other. He's like, "We're really bad right now, aren't we?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're not good." He goes, "Are we even going to make the playoffs?" I said,
Playoffs,
dude, I don't even know. So Will, you were at the game, you were in the stadium. Take a temperature of the 12s for us at halftime. What was it feeling like in there?
Well, thankfully they were retiring Kenny Easley's number at halftime, so there was still some good feelings. It was frustrating. There's no doubt about it, especially considering that we gave up 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. Slow offensive starts, though. Surprisingly enough, there's a great article on Seahawks Draft Blog. Even when Seattle was at their best, they were getting off to very slow starts. I mean, you go back to 2013 and the Panthers game, the Niners game, the Texans game.
Game, yes.
Yeah, just a lot of those games we just got off to slow starts. And I think the biggest problem this year is not that we're not scoring, but that we're not even holding on to the ball that much. Because we're going into halftime and the defense has been on the field 20 minutes.
Right.
And we were able to flip the script this time. But, that killed us in the Titans game because it was 9 billion degrees down there. It's not going to help this week if we have trouble in LA. So,
right.
We were not happy at the game in the first half. We've seen it before, but we've still seen better than this. So, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. At least we got to drive. We can't just go 3 and out.
Right. Slow, methodical beat down. Now, for me, you try to dig up a positive thing, and I think what I said, the most positive thing in the first half, besides it being over, was the fact that, Indianapolis made a couple of really amazing plays. That interception was spectacular where he kept his feet in. And then right after that touchdown catch. Listen, Shaq had him covered. I don't care. That was a great catch and a great throw. And I said those were they've made a couple of great over their head plays. Can they do that for 4 quarters? I'm not so sure. Plus the fact that last drive, even though it was the end of the half, wow, those guys were wide open. And I'm like, there's something going on in that backfield that I think we can capitalize in the second half on. So I wasn't all hope is lost, but at the same time I'm thinking, really? We're going to lose to this team? The second half, Will, it changed a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, just a bit. I think what really sparked the offense was just seeing that Russell Wilson touchdown, which everybody, the only people in the stadium who didn't think that was a touchdown were the officials on the field, because all of us in the stands knew it. I think the players knew it, but just seeing Wilson, and you could just see him think to himself, all right, damn it, I'll do this myself.
Sure.
Just running and, not sliding down, but taking the hit and forcing his way in for the touchdown and then being so fired up afterwards. I like that Wilson is methodical. I like that he doesn't get too down on himself when he makes mistakes. I like that he's fairly calculating, but I think we all need to see the fiery, emotional side of Wilson every once in a while.
Absolutely.
And that touchdown was a great way to do it.
I agree.
That was the first thing I said when I saw that. I was like, man, I don't think I've ever seen Russell so fired up before.
Yeah, you did.
It's like that was cool to see because he never lets his emotions go like that.
It reminded me of the Green Bay game where he's like, I hate losing, and went back out on the field and kicked
and then
ass.
Broke down in tears afterwards.
And that's why this guy is worth every penny, and this is why we said pay him, and this is why we're lucky to have that guy in our uniform. And in my opinion, this is why, as long as he's here, we are in a game, no matter who's around him, as long as he's here. Zordy, what are your thoughts on the second half?
Well, I mean, wow. I mean, what did we put up? It was 36.
36, yeah.
36-3.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, again, it was. I mean, it took a long time to get there, but we got there, and again, it's a win is a win. It's just this whole season has just felt different. I mean, there's just a lot going on in general. So I'll take any win because we've seen upsets all over the place. It's just been a trip. It's kind of fun in a way, but it's very difficult to wager on.
It's interesting, and the guard seems to be changing as far as the elites and the non-elites, and that changes every once in a while. I mean, that happens. Here's by the numbers real quick. They held the Colts to second half. They held the Colts to 3 first downs and 32 total yards. They outscored them 36-3, and they put up over 337 yards of offense. That's just the one half.
Is that the
That's
best
good.
they can do?
No, it wasn't, because they had a whole other half.
and the thing was that to me, if you watch like the behind, the mic'd up and the inside the NFL and all that stuff, that I watched that, and I watched this team become a team again. Like the offense and defense rooting for each other, and the jumping around and the having fun and the flying around on the field that we had in 2013, it seemed like all year long. It seemed like that kind of magic was back in the second half. They were having fun. They couldn't wait to get on the field. They were congratulating each other. They were in each other's faces, having a good time. I haven't seen that in a while in this team.
Yeah,
So-
I think it's great that it's back. I mean, the only thing that worries me a little bit was the some of the injuries which occurred during the game as well, and I think we should just touch on those. I mean, I think the Carson injury is just terrible. That's just appalling for that young player.
Yeah, I feel bad for him too.
Yeah, that was rough. But
And I'm sure Dustin has a lot about that in the third quarter too, don't you, Dustin?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of injuries to talk about.
Yeah, unfortunately.
even one of the guys that we just signed last week is already out. For like
After
4
20
weeks.
minutes of one practice, he breaks his hand. Quentin Jefferson.
Practice hard.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but
So we're pretty banged up.
Yeah, one other thing that's pretty cool though to see was McKissick.
Yes.
Man,
Oh,
dude,
man.
he was
Yeah.
so fast on that first touchdown.
Yes.
So fast. And I'm assuming you guys watched. You guys listened to the TV feed, right? Because that cracked me up. See, normally I listen to Ward, Moon, and Rabel call the game on the internet, and then I pause it, and so it syncs up with the game. So I listen to the hometown team announce it. This time I decided to listen to Collinsworth and those guys, and so
I'm sorry.
yeah. So when McKissick just takes off and he's running right, like an Eddie Lacy in there with the touchdown. I'm like,
Yep.
I was like, hold
that's not
on.
Eddie.
I was like, there's no way that was Eddie Lacy.
No way.
No.
That was
Where's
Eddie.
the
Not
other
that
half
speed.
of him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, Eddie does not run that fast.
It was like something Eddie ate at dinner is what it looked like.
Yeah.
I love Chris Collinsworth. He's one of my favorite commentators. I just love the way his voice says it. The way he turns to he's like, no, there's a man who knows what
There's
he's
a
doing.
guy.
There's a guy who
There's a-
knows what he's
Hey,
doing.
they used to make fun of him in Cincinnati real quick because he's from he's not from Cincinnati, but he played for the Bengals for years.
Yeah.
And this one comedian on the radio used to do. And now Chris Collinsworth calls a tennis game, and he goes, "You hit the ball, you hit it back. You hit the ball, you hit it back. You hit the ball, you hit it back."
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yep.
Going back to McKissick really quick, something that was pretty cool too is that sound effects thing you were talking about. When Pete was talking to Russell on the sideline about it, and he's like, "Hey, throw the ball to 21 again? See what happens." They're like,
Yeah.
like, man, he's on it. Let's just see what he'll do.
Yeah, right.
And then they gave him that chance, and he had a nice catch for a touchdown.
He sure did. Yeah, a lot of bright spots coming out of the game, even though, we had the injuries, and I'm sure third quarter we'll go more into those. But we kind of banged up after that game for sure. But hopefully we have enough to take on the Rams this week. But a good win. And as all games end, we finish up with a nice caption that picture. All right, this is a nice caption that picture. This is Frank Gore, and a couple Seahawks, Thomas and Sherman, I believe. So there's a lot to go with here. Dustin, caption that picture.
Hey, you remember when your old team played just a tip with Sherm?
Ouch.
Oh,
Ouch.
Oh,
Matt enjoyed that one a little too much. Will, caption that picture.
Frank, so glad to see you back at CenturyLink. Your team always has such the greatest games here.
Oh my God, Matt, caption that picture.
Zell Thomas, man, your team performance in the second half was so wooden, I got a splinter just from tackling you guys.
Oh, it's wooden. And then me, Earl Thomas. So look, if you want to retire a champion, we could really use you over here. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I had one more too.
I did.
Okay.
I thought of one, Dennis.
Oh, okay. That's me, Mark. Capture that picture.
Without even looking. Thinking of something? No, so the Seahawks.
You got to think of something.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
No. So told Frank, it's okay, Frank. You're too old to kneel.
Ouch.
Yikes.
All right, Dustin, what you got?
Dude, you look like you're Frank Gore's dad.
Ouch.
Nice. I
All
like
right. Well, let's go to the 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
All right, the 2-minute warning. Let's take a look real quickly at our predictions, prognostication, and game balls from last week. The scoring, scores, 1 point for Little Mo. He said 35-6. That was pretty good. 29-point win. It was 28-point win. That's pretty good. Prognostications, 2 points to me because we got pick 6. 2 points to Tom because Hilton got less than 50 yards receiving. Game ball, I gave it to Wilson, so Jose, Mark, and Matt. The over-under was over, so a point to Mike, Mark, Will, Dustin, and me. Means individual scores this week. I led the week with 3 points. Hooray me. Tom and Jose and Statsman Mark at 2. Mike, Will, Dustin, Matt, and Lilmo at 1. Overall, Mike and Dustin tied at the top with 13. I'm in second place with 10. That's right, I'm in second place with 10. Suck it, you Brit. Jose at 9.
Whoa.
Matt and
Little too
Tom at
angry.
8. Will at 4. Mark Titanier at 3. Statsman Mark at 3. And Little Mo at 2. Guess what? After 4 games, Team 12 35, Team Posse 38. We're still leading.
How long
Running
can we
the
keep
table.
this up?
I don't know. It's amazing. And you know what else is amazing? Halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
All right, coming up, will the Seahawks go into the bye week with a win? Will the Rams show that there's a new sheriff in town? Can we please stop ramming it already? All these answers and so much more just around the corner. But first, another edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia coming up next.
Hi, I'm Rosette, and you're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia.
Of the world!
Trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Will, Matt, Mark, and Dustin, and here are the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that, but once and only once during the entire game show, and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia. All right, if you listen to this show, you know that last trivia, Dustin and Matt decided to do a little research and a little Googling, not during the show, but they did it on their own, and they had a good laugh over the fact that they got my final question exactly right because they were studying. So the questions this week are going to be a little bit more difficult. So, okay.
Oh dear.
Matt,
What's the DNA sequence for? Yes, carry on.
would you like 1,
AC,
2, 3, or 4?
Man, that's the easiest question you've ever asked me. 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'll have
He'll have to ask
4.
the kids.
4.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to ask the kids. I'll have 4.
Statsman Mark, 1, 2, or 3?
Number 1.
Will? 2 or 3?
It takes 2.
All right.
This is so easy. I didn't have to pick.
Here you go. Oh, you just wait. You just wait.
Here we go,
They're all
folks.
having a good time right now, aren't they? They're laughing, they're sporting, they're having a good sport at the old Moses here. But you just okay. Mark, here you go. The first 4 questions have to do with the Rams franchise. And Mark, your question is this: where did the Rams NFL franchise originally start? Did it start in Cleveland, Columbus, or Los Angeles? Dance!
I know this. I
You
think.
know that they started in Cleveland, Columbus, or Los Angeles.
I know.
What is
I,
it?
I'm gonna.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Cleveland.
Hello, Cleveland! Hello, Cleveland! You think Cleveland, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, just so you know, Mosette said Cleveland. Little Mo said Los Angeles. Yeah, you're right. It's Cleveland.
Wow.
Point to Mark. Oh, that was easy. Will, these are easy. Are you ready?
And that's one of the few times Cleveland came through. Anyway,
Yeah.
trivia in itself.
Well,
Okay.
if I had the chance to leave Cleveland to go to LA, I would take it
Who
too.
wouldn't?
So
Yeah. All right, Will, here you go. These are easy questions, so don't worry about them. Will, what's the first year the Rams actually had ram's horns painted on their helmets? 1945, 1948, or 1954? Easy!
is this is an actual football question that I
Yeah,
got?
the year the Rams had ram's horns painted on their helmets. 45, 48, or 54?
He said helmets.
What kills me is I know I'm going to blow this one.
Helmets and blow this one just a tad.
Oh, my God.
What's going
Oh,
on?
Not
boy.
guys?
quite what I meant, but at least I'm fitting in with the theme.
You know, there's a 7-year-old listening to this going, I don't understand. No, don't worry
That's
about it.
good. You should not.
Ask your parents.
Yeah.
I'll go 1954.
He'll go 1954 for the first year that the Rams had their helmets painted. That sounded worse. Mosette said 48.
Were they bronzed? Oh, sorry.
Here.
As Jose says so often, we are 12.
How often do they
Years
get
old.
forward?
Yeah, Little Mo said 54. Mosette said 48. You said 54. I'm sorry. 1948.
I knew it
1948.
was one of the two.
Fullback painted the helmets because he was a wide receiver. Okay, Dustin.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Not a tight end.
Dustin, your question is this.
All right.
What famous celebrity was actually part owner of the Rams until 1962? So he owned the Rams partially until 1962. Was it Milton Berle, Bob Hope, or Dean Martin? Who actually owned part of the Rams until 1962? Milton Berle, Bob Hope, or Dean Martin?
Yes.
Dance!
I don't know. Hope. Was it Bob Hope? Yeah, I'll go.
Hope. Bob Hope. Okay.
Yeah, that guy.
I think he said Hope. You said Bob Hope. Well, Mo said Bob Hope, and Mosette said Dean Martin. Nobody said Milton Berle. That's good because it's Bob Hope.
Good. I don't know who Milton Berle is, so I have no
Wow.
idea.
Comedian.
What?
Yeah. And
Is he the guy that made the board games?
No, that's Milton Bradley before he became an
Girl,
MLB
make more
outfielder. Okay.
games. Oh, I
Close
love
enough.
it. No, that's Milton Bradley, but I love it.
All right.
Hey, look him up sometimes. He's known for something rather large, but we won't go into it right now.
Again, fitting in with the theme.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that off camera or off between quarters. All right,
Say
everyone.
there's a camera.
Matt.
I've composed myself. I am ready.
All right.
Yeah, right.
All right. Who painted the helmets? No.
And what college did he go to?
Hey, Matt.
He has.
In what year did the Rams become the first team to televise their football games? 1950, 51, or 52? Year the Rams became the first team to televise their games. 50, 51, or 52?
Wow. Well, let me think about this. So the coronation.
What year did they want to show off those shiny new helmets?
Well,
Jeff Fisher was coach, so nobody watched.
I would probably go 1950. You said 51 was an option, didn't you?
50, 51, and 52.
I'd go 51.
Mosette went 51. You went 51. Little Mo went 52. Nah. 1950. 1950.
Wow.
So at the end of one, Mark and Dustin with a point. Matt and Will, nada. Mark, 5, 6, 7, or 8.
I would go 5.
All right, Dustin.
I'll go 6 this time. Let's get it over with.
Matt.
I'll go 7.
Okay.
I'll go 8.
Okay. The topic
call.
is recent and longtime Ram player Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner is the topic. Who just got in the Hall of Fame with Easley. So that's exciting. All right, here we go. Mark, your question about Kurt Warner is this. What NFL Europe team did Kurt Warner play for? Was it the Amsterdam Admirals, the Barcelona Dragons, or the Berlin Thunder? What NFL Europe team did Kurt Warner play for? Amsterdam Admirals, Barcelona Dragons, or the Berlin Thunder? I'd want to play for the Thunder just for the name. They'll play the Thunder.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I really don't know, but I'm guessing the Dragons, the Barcelona. I'm gonna say Barcelona.
The Barcelona Dragons, or if you're from Spain, the Barcelona Dragons. Mosette said the Barcelona Dragons, and Lil Mo said the Thunder. But it's the Admirals. He actually played for the Admirals. Yeah.
Everyone else know that, I guess. I don't know.
No. Dustin.
No.
Yeah.
Dustin, your question is also about Kurt Warner,
okay.
And it is this: while he was in NFL Europe, there were 3 quarterbacks at that time who played in the NFL besides Kurt Warner. Which one of them was his actual backup while he was at the Admirals? Was it Jake Delhomme, Brad Johnson, or John Kitna? One of these guys actually backed up Kurt Warner in the NFL Europe. Was it Jake Delhomme, Brad Johnson, and John Kitna? And Delhomme and Johnson both played in a Super Bowl. And, of course, Kitna, a longtime Seahawk. So.
Yeah, actually, I have no idea. I'll say, I don't know a lot about Delhomme. I'll say him.
Delhomme?
Yeah. I know he played for Carolina, but I don't know much about him.
Like, come and me sack a Delhomme. All right. You said Jake Delhomme. Mosette said Jake Delhomme. Lil Mo said John Kitna. All right.
Nice.
It is Jake Delhomme. Well done. He actually backed up Kurt Warner. And Dustin has 2 points. You're not cheating on me, are you, Dustin?
How could I possibly, dude?
Okay, I don't know. You find
We're not a couple.
I know.
Wait, what?
Matt. Matt.
Yes. Hello.
Following his stint in NFL Europe, he did actually play in the Arena Football League as well. What Arena Football League team did Kurt Warner play for? Was it the Connecticut Coyotes, the Iowa Barnstormers, or the Toronto Phantoms? Again, love Toronto Phantoms. Connecticut Coyotes, Iowa Barnstormers, or the Toronto Phantoms?
But I think Kurt Warner was an Iowa native. So I wonder whether he went home. So I'll go with the what do you call them? Brainstormers?
The Barnstormers. Those would be
Barnstormers.
like guys that like were in airplanes that would show off.
Yeah, they don't brainstorm there.
Barnstormers because they would go by the barns real close.
Well, that one then.
Okay, you're going with that one. Little Mo said the Connecticut Coyotes. and Mosette was with me. She liked the phrase the Toronto Phantoms, but you went with the Iowa Barnstormers. Yeah,
Yep,
the
I
Iowa
knew that one.
Barnstormers.
That one I
Please tell me
knew.
you made up Connecticut Coyotes, because that just sounds dumb.
Connecticut Coyote's not cool. No cool Connecticut Coyote. All right, Will, your question is this: what do two of Kurt's 7 children have in common? Are they adopted? Are they autistic? Or are they identical twins? 2 of Kurt's 7 children. Are they autistic? Are they adopted? Or are they twins?
I know this answer.
I'm gonna say adopted.
You say adopted. Mosette said adopted. Well, Mo, he went with the twin thing. All right, Will, you got a point.
Yeah, I remember them talking about that with his Hall of Fame stuff. That he adopted what's her name, Brenda, or whatever his wife's name is. He adopted.
He didn't
2
adopt
of
He
her
Brenda,
kids.
adopted his
married
wife?
her. Yeah.
Well, hit 2 of her kids.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
The final question, of course, it is time, once again, for the final question. All right, here's how this is still a number. And
Good. Couldn't be a letter.
Still a number. Okay.
Or
it's still
now
a
it's a
number.
decimal.
It's still high-low. It's still the closest gets it.
Oh goodness.
The order is Matt, Will, Mark, Dustin.
Start with me. I'll go with 1.
And there is a chance for overtime if we get it. So let's
There's
see.
no chance of it.
Here we go. The question for all of you, we'll start with Matt, is this. It's about Kurt Warner. How many touchdown passes did Kurt Warner have in his NFL career? How many touchdown passes did Kurt Warner have in his NFL career?
Oh, I have no idea, so I'll go 191.
191 for Matt. Will?
Actually.
128.
Yeah.
128. Mark?
This is total passing touchdowns for Kurt Warner.
Yes. No
Okay.
Googling. No photo friend.
No. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna go way over. I'm gonna say 291.
291. Dustin?
Yep.
Dustin,
Well,
so far we
he's
got
in the Hall of Fame.
191, 128, 291.
I feel like Will's way too low and Mark's way too high. Matt's probably close. So
Thanks.
I'm a Price is Right him. My Price is Right now. I'm gonna go 192.
192.
You smelly bastard.
Well, guess what?
The other
This
ones
week-
just seem too extreme.
Well, guess what
I think
this
Will's
week, guys?
closest.
Nobody got on a button, so
Woohoo!
I'd be happy with that. The amount, we do have a winner, though.
Hey.
The
Like two
touchdown passes Kurt Warner had in his NFL career were 208.
Oh,
The little man does
One really bad word.
The little bed man does it again.
Whew.
Way to go, Dustin.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Skilo playing
done.
for you. Matt, you going to order some more trophies there?
No, not this time.
Just make
Although
sure my name's on them.
I just nearly said a very bad word.
Ouch!
Kept it in. I've internalized that. I should use that tomorrow.
Now, have you all learned a lesson
Yeah.
when it comes to trivia?
Rams are painting their bell ends. I love it.
Yeah, that was a pain in the butt. I'm glad.
Yeah, I did learn a lesson. If I don't study, I get everything right and win.
Yeah, right. So you learned
Exactly. That's your
That'd
only
be a lesson
chance.
to you out
The
there,
cheater
kids.
won.
So remember, kids, don't study. You'll do better.
Ever.
Don't study.
Just cram it all in at the end.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
I'm
glad I got
on
one.
She
break
said.
now. I don't have to study. God. Hey, this has been another crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning, non-cheating edition of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
How is
Halftime
studying
Show.
cheating?
We'll be back in the second half of the show after this reading by Reverend Moses. Skilo, take us out.
And now it's time for a reading of Seahawk Positivity with the Reverend Moses.
Yes, it is I, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity, a reading from the book of the 2017 NFL season, chapter 5, verses 3 to 12. So onward we travel, then we come upon the land of bright lights and stars, a land of traffic gridlock and casting couches. There we will find a familiar foe in not so familiar surroundings. But they will have horns on their heads, and their uniforms will not match. They wish to ram us, but we will stand up strong. Our power will make them become the sheep of the land, and those lambs shall then remain silent. Yes, brethren, this is the word of Seahawk Positivity. Go out and spread the good word of Seahawk Positivity. Praise Largent, praise Cortez, praise Walter Jones, praise Eastley. Go Hawks and give Pete a chance.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Welcome to the third quarter of your 12-man Fan Jam show. Hey, you! Yes, you watching Cam Newton belittle female reporters. Like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, 12-man Fan Jam show. Do it now before the Seahawks score again. Hey, it's time for our Seahawks to hit the road, and that means that many great Seahawk fans will travel as well. So here to give our listeners an inside scoop of all the really great behind-the-scenes sites to see while you're in Los Angeles is our 12-man Fan Jam show travel guide. Yes, the 12-man Fan Jam show travel guide is here to help you find those out-of-the-way places when you travel to Los Angeles. This week, it's a trip to sunny and beautiful Los Angeles, California, where the couches are casting and the traffic is real. So, when in beautiful, beautiful sunny Los Angeles, be sure to visit these sites. Be sure to visit the Bill Paxton School for Bad Acting.
Oh.
I didn't
Game
like
over,
acting,
man.
I'm sorry.
Game
I know
over.
he's dead, but
R.I.P.
listen, hey, he's dead, but he sucked when he was alive. All right.
Oh.
Ooh.
I'll say it. I
Ouch.
don't care.
Ooh.
Watch Twister and tell me that guy is even acting. All right. When in Los Angeles, be sure to visit the James Dean Driving School. There's another one.
Oh.
Because,
Man, you're on a roll.
Wow.
Don't think you'll have the dead
two
on this
movies.
show.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dennis, I believe there's a Smear the Queer course available now.
Oh!
Oh dear.
Oh my God!
Goodness.
We just lost
Goodness
every
gracious.
listener we ever had.
All
Okay.
three of them.
Both of them?
Well, there's more. When you go to Los Angeles, be sure to visit the Marilyn Monroe Memorial Drugstore. That's another one.
Oh.
That's
Dark.
they're
It's
there.
like the Halloween edition right now. It's all
Yeah,
these ghosts.
Dark Moses. Dark.
Dark. When,
We're not
when
banned
in
by
beautiful-
YouTube yet.
When in beautiful Los Angeles, be sure to
Walk-ins
visit,
welcome. Oh, sorry.
visit the.
Hmm.
When in Los Angeles, be sure to visit the Charlie Manson Family Restaurant and Music Shop.
Oh my God! You can't do this.
The special is the roast pig. I'm sorry.
Oh.
And finally, before I pass out, when in Los Angeles, be sure to visit the O.J. Simpson Juice Bar and Glove Store.
Oh.
One size fits none. Okay.
Hmm.
Now that is over, thank God.
Whew, goodness.
Whew. Let's see how healthy
Damn.
these teams are. And that's, whew. Turning to our doctor, Dr. Dustin, with the 12-man Fan Jam Show injury report. Dr. Dustin, tell us the news.
Doctor, give me the news.
All right, so I'll start with the Rams because this is going to be easy. They have a safety. He's hurt. Joyner. He's got a hamstring. He's doubtful. We'll see what happens with him. Sherman Brown, who's a guard for them, he's questionable with a groin injury. And that's
when
it
you
for
say
them.
we'll see, you really don't care, do you?
No, I don't care.
I
One
do.
way or yeah, I really don't. Moving on to the Seahawks, they're all injured, like all of them. None of they're all hurting. We got Jeremy Lane. He's doubtful. He's not going to play though. He's more than doubtful. He's got a groin injury. He hurt himself last week in the game. Came out early. He's not playing. You got who else was it that was out for sure? Quentin Jefferson is out.
No, great.
Yeah, new addition for this week. He signed because of the injury to Cliff Averill. It was like Will was saying, practicing for 20 minutes, broke his hand. He has to have surgery. He's
Beautiful.
going to be out. Cliff Averill, that's a kind of a scary one. He's out indefinitely. I could tell when he got injured on the field. I was like, oh, he's got a stinger, but it's weird for it to be in both hands because you see him trying to grip like that. He was trying to get the feeling back in his hands.
Right.
And a stinger is, they said he had dual stingers, which is so freaking weird that would happen. But basically, a stinger is a stretching of the brachial plexus, which means the nerves get kind of jarred and stretched out up in the shoulder neck area.
Scary.
So, yeah, and so they don't know how long he's going to be out. And something that was very scary about that, where you kind of feel for the guy or worry about him, is in the press conferences this week, Pete mentioned if he wants to come back, we'll see how that goes. So there's potential for him to be done, apparently.
Well, he is now a spring chicken.
Yeah, exactly. Will Hoyt, he's questionable with a hamstring. We'll see how that goes. I don't know if we'll see him play or not. That's too bad. Then we have two more injuries. One's actually an injury update. But CJ Prosise is doubtful for the game. He has ankle vaginitis.
Shock.
So, yeah.
The Seahawks really need to just start pre-printing his name on their injury reports.
They really do.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, Pete was talking about how well he was running. He's like, yeah, he's out there. He's running hard, but he's not going to play probably. He's doubtful. So, like I said, it's his ankle, and I'm classifying it as ankle vaginitis. That should be what's on the official report.
I love the idea though when he said that, like, yeah, he's out there, he's running really well, but he tripped over and shattered into a billion pieces.
Yeah.
I actually have that I have that practice audio. He's got the ball. He's at the 10, 20, 30. Oh, okay. Well, so much.
That's about right. All right, and then injury update. Player we haven't heard about for a while, which Pete mentioned today, was Malik McDowell.
Oh.
So we actually now know what his injury was. They talked about it for the first time.
Wow.
He had a severe concussion. That's what happened.
Wow.
That's what was keeping him out. It wasn't the facial injuries like we were thinking and things like that. It was a severe concussion. And they still haven't ruled him out for the season. There's potential that he could still come back. He's getting reevaluated in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So, yeah, update on
Fingers
him.
crossed.
Yeah,
Yep.
fingers crossed for him.
Yeah.
And of course, Chris Carson.
Yeah, that goes without saying. Chris Carson is broke his leg. It's his fibula, and he has a high ankle sprain apparently.
Yeah.
So
Overachiever.
yeah, he's like Jeremy Lane in the Super Bowl, or Darren Sproles this year. Just break stuff and mess up ligaments at the same time. But so he broke his leg. It's his fibula. I'm assuming because they said he might come back this year, within 8 weeks. There's no way he's doing that if his tibia got messed up. That's the bigger bone in your shin. The fibula is a smaller bone on the outside of your leg, and that's a non-weight bearing bone.
Yeah.
It's painful when you break it, but it's not the worst thing that could happen to you. T.O. is a prime example of that. When he was playing for the Eagles, he broke his fibula with an eversion ankle sprain, and he came back and played in the Super Bowl and was probably the best Eagles player on that Super Bowl team that year.
Yeah,
in the game.
I agree.
So Carson's has a chance to come back. He also had surgery for ligament damage for a high ankle sprain, which is pretty severe, obviously. And that's the ligaments between the tibia and fibula that help hold them together. Is what he had to have surgery on. So, hopefully, wish him a quick recovery. I don't know if we'll see him back in 8 weeks, but apparently the Seahawks think he might be back. So.
Well, I have utmost confidence in Thomas Rawls, but we'll talk about that in the fourth quarter. I have a feeling. This is a lot of injuries. It's just a lot of injuries, but they got beat up pretty good. So
that doesn't even count the guys that got hurt and went back in the game that weren't listed. So
because Reese Odiabo apparently is okay, from what I heard.
Yeah, he's the original reports on that were that he had a heart contusion.
And that was not true. Yeah.
No, contusion is another word for a bruise for anybody out there who might be listening that doesn't know. He got popped in the chest, probably with a helmet, I'm assuming. But it ended up his sternum was bruised, and the sternum is your breastbone. It's right there, runs along the front of your chest.
Yeah.
Bruised that. He was short of breath the rest of the game. He was on the ground in the locker room after the game, short of breath, and they took him to the hospital because they thought something was wrong with his heart, apparently.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. He came back out. He practiced Wednesday.
Good.
He's good to go, full go. So that's
All right.
he got lucky.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's a real downer. Real quick.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Real quick stats fan, Mark. I believe in Thomas Rawls. What's your thought?
I'm hoping that he can play. I mean, it's so frustrating because if any or all these guys are healthy, it's such a great backfield. But this is a mash unit, and there's no rhythm. There's no we can't build any momentum. And Rawls, when he is pure healthy, I mean, the guy's a Pro Bowler. It's just it's maddening. I mean, given all the injuries, I would like for them to take a running back next year fairly high, and hopefully that one stays healthy. I just don't know. It's just they're snake bit.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Oh,
but
Rawls was a healthy scratch last week.
Right. He was
so
a
I mean,
scratch.
He's not hurt. They just didn't play him.
And listen, I know it sounds funny, but if you scratch a healthy scratch, he can't get injured during the game. I know it sounds silly, but if you're rotating these guys and you need to keep them healthy, maybe they're thinking, Lacey one game and Rawls the next game. Not now, obviously, but when they have everybody there, and keeping them healthy by keeping them off the field. I don't know, but listen, there's one more part to this, and that is there's a weather to be had, and there is nothing better than taking a look at the weather and fashion for the game by turning to a guy living in Europe. Yes, it's time for the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Weather and Fashion Report with Matt from merry old England. Oh, Matt.
It's raining man.
Yes, thank you, Moses. Well, we're off to Los Angeles, Southern California this week, and currently I have my good friend Earl, you remember Earl, from the US National Weather Service. He's currently hanging 35 foot off a blimp flying over the LA Memorial Coliseum for the very latest in weather observational data. Now, it has been pointed out to me that I could have just turned on the local weather channel, but where's the fun in that? Besides, Earl doesn't get out much. So what I'm hearing from Earl is that this is going to be a warm game. We're talking 26 degrees Celsius or 79 degrees Fahrenheit with absolutely no chance of rain. However, there is a 10% chance of an earthquake, 50% chance of falling victim to gangland violence, and 100% chance that a local will point out to you how right on and liberally open-minded they are, especially compared to you and everyone else in the entire USA. Turning to what to wear at this week's game, well, it's in California and we are the visiting team, so it is important to blend in. The easiest way to do this is to dress either in anything which has the Californian Republic flag on it, or wear street attire with oversized pants where your underwear shows, accessorizing with either a blue or red bandana.
Choose wisely there.
Hidden hand signals and gang-related tattoos are entirely optional, but trust me, you'll fit right in. Well, until someone wearing the opposing colour spots you. As for me, if I was going to the game, well, us Californian Brits were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikini on top, my sun-kissed skin so hot I melt a popsicle. Oh. That being said, it looks like it's going to be perfect Seahawks weather. Moses, back over to you.
Yeah! Now see, that brought us up. Kids, you like that? Yeah! You only get a fashion and weather report from this show for the game. All right, let's round table real quick. Will the Seahawks win this game if what? One sentence.
They can put together a game plan that accounts for the Rams' pass rush.
All right. Statsman Mark, the Seahawks win this game if what?
Russell Wilson takes 0 7-step drops.
Ooh, all right. Dustin, the Seahawks win this game if what?
I just want to say Russell Wilson a lot of times takes like 30-step drops, so I don't know if that's going to be possible. But anyways, I'm kind of with Will. I think that Seahawks win if they have short passes and Russell Wilson can get the ball out fast.
Okay. Matt, the Seahawks win this game if what?
Well, if they keep their cool and don't commit stupid penalties, we need to have a lot less penalties and a lot less sort of, first downs given on penalties for the other team.
And for me, the Seahawks win this game if the swagger that I saw in the second half of the Colts game returns. Yeah, I know, a lot of points, a lot of yardage. No, I'm talking about the sideline swagger. I'm talking about the guys that can't wait to get on the field to fly around and play some football. I'm talking about the Seahawk team that was a team. Offense rooting for defense, defense rooting for offense, jumping around, hollering. That's what I want to see on this team. And if we do, I don't think there's anybody in the NFL that can beat this team. All right.
How come you get more than one sentence?
I know.
Rank
I went off
has
a
its
little bit.
privileges,
Oh, wow.
Dustin.
Okay.
That's the end of the third quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
All right, coming up next, we take all this info, other info that might be a lot more helpful. We make our predictions for the Seahawks-Rams game. You are listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Ram it! We'll be right back.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Nobody cares.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Oh, yes. It is time for the fourth and final quarter of this episode of 12-Man Fan Jam Show. In this quarter, we make up our game score predictions, our prognostications, and, of course, our game balls for the upcoming game. First, let's look at the numbers. Our Seahawks are actually 3-point underdogs at Los Angeles. That's changed. It's fluctuated, but we're going to go with 3-point underdogs. The over-under is at 47.5. That's kind of high. Quick disclaimer, these numbers have been presented for entertainment purposes only. The 12-Man Fan Jam Show does not endorse betting on anything at any time, and whatever you do, don't ever take anything we say on this show seriously, ever. All right, we're going to start with our picks, but before we do, we're going to ram it a little bit. This is for the Los Angeles Rams. They ramming it? Do you know how to ram it? But the worst part about this is not so much the song, but seeing all of these Rams dance. It's just disgusting. Ram it, everybody. Ram it. Oh, wait. Big Jackie's going to rap. Jackie Slater.
Big bad Jackie and I'm starting this off. The Rams get down so nobody scoff. And don't you worry cause the Rams are rapping. When game time comes, give it back to Jack.
He looks like Uncle Fred. Like Uncle Fred got the mic on karaoke night and is going to try to rap from like the 70s. All right.
And it's still better than some of the lyrics in that song, which you hear and you cannot believe that they actually said with a straight face.
Oh my God, they're awful. Okay, so while we're ramming it, let's look at the team posse, Team 12 rather. Team 12's picks. Jose said game ball this week to JD. I can't spell his last name. It's McKissick. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, we do. Prognostication: Russell gets sacked more than 5 times. Score 27-24 Seahawks. This game is sure to give me a heart attack because he'll be there. So, last time he was at Rams game or in California, good things happen. So, hopefully. Now, Tom says 31-20. Wilson more than 300 yards passing and game ball to Wilson. Little Mo says 28-24 Seattle. Wilson game ball and have 3 touchdown passes. Oh, sacks solo. All right. Mark Ty Turner, as for this week, a game that will occur near me, but most likely won't see me anywhere near the stadium at any time for many reasons. I don't think my mojo for the Hawks is good at this moment, and they've been struggling on the road, so I better just stay away. He says we have to be realistic. He's saying Rams 16, Hawks 13. He's given the ball to Chancellor. Offense will be struggling. While Russell won't get sacked more than 4 times, the Rams will get 3 tackles for a loss. Mike Pascal said, do I get along with points or be a faithful fan? He's going Rams 16-12. Game ball to Thomas. And his prognostication is Blair misses something. A field goal, an extra point, his old job in Minnesota, something. Okay.
Plane, there,
Team
anything.
boss.
Mark, are you
Yes,
ramming
sir.
it?
Well, not the way they think. No, let's see. No,
Jackie Slater on the sax, by the way. Go ahead.
Jackie Slater.
He's playing the sax. You got to see this video. Okay.
Oh my God, is that
Actually, you don't. I'm going to have so many nightmares tonight. Okay.
You know what I remember watching Ram games with my dad. He was a Rams fan years ago, and anyway, there was back then. There was a guy who had a sign in when back in the Ferragamo days, and this guy had a sign that said "Win one for the fat man," and that was Ray Malavasi, the coach. Was this giant?
Yeah.
He was like this 80-year-old Barney. Anyway, so in terms of present day, you know what, the Rams, what's weird, the Rams, their defense, they got Wade Phillips. That defense is they're scoring a lot of points. They're giving up a lot of points. So this could be kind of a more entertaining game. That said, I think it'll be kind of a mix. I think it'll be better than a field goal battle, but it won't be, a high scoring thing like they had versus San Francisco or whoever else they played. I'm going to call this 24-20 Seattle. I think that Griffin will get. Has he had a pick yet? Did he get his first pick already?
Not yet.
Okay, I'm going to say he's going to get his first pick.
Okay.
And then what else? And I'm going to go ahead and I'll just give my game ball to the kid. What the heck? The Shaq.
Is that Russell? No,
Griffin
Shaq
Jr.
Jr. Okay.
Yeah, to Griffin, the Rook.
Yeah, to
Yep.
Shaq. I understand.
Yep.
Thank you, Will.
Well, Mark took my score, but I'm going to stick with it. Seahawks 24, Rams 20.
Yeah, go with it.
I'm going to give my game ball to Thomas Rawls because I think we need to get a consistent running game going if we are going to win.
Attaboy.
And prognostications, you know what? Go big or go home. I predict we get more sacks than we surrender. We sack the Rams more times than they sack us.
I like it.
I like that. Because remember, with Ram rules, if you sack, you have to yell, sack!
Oh, man.
Please tell me they don't still do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Dustin.
Yeah.
What you got for us?
Prognostication, game ball, and score.
That's fantastic. So happy for you.
Okay, Matt, your turn.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say the Seahawks are going to win 28-24. The Rams are going to have the ball last. They're going to be forced to score a touchdown or lose on their home field. And I think that they're going to have a turnover on that last drive there to try and win the game. And I'll say Sherm gets his first interception of the year.
Rams turnover on last drive.
Was that?
What's your prognostication? The
Sherm's interception.
Oh, Sherman's going to get an INT? Okay.
Yeah, to seal the deal because Rams are going to have to throw to score a touchdown as opposed to settling for a field goal.
Okay. I will give you just a Sherman INT if you want it.
Do what you got to. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Because that might be
I don't have
easier.
to pick the time and the round and all that.
No.
We had trouble.
Okay, it has to be at 37 seconds remaining in the fourth
Use
quarter.
your game ball.
My game ball, I'm going to give to one of the running backs. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to.
Well, now's the time.
But I want a running game so bad.
Now's the time.
Give it to
I'll
Trey
say-
Madden.
Give it to somebody before they get hurt.
Trey Madden.
I'll say. I'll give it to Rawls.
Trey Madden.
I want a running game so bad.
How bad?
So bad. I just said.
Ugh.
I'm not going into that. Matt!
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Oh,
I feel that
he wants a
Mark
running
said that
game so
several
bad.
times previously. Mark's definitely said that before, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a practice stout. Well, sorry, me.
Yeah.
What am I going to go with? I'm going to go with. Okay, I'll have to be realistic. Seattle Seahawks 13, Rams 17. I want to give my game ball to Ronan Keaton because I think he's going to play a good coaching game with Sean McVay. But I'm not going to. Game ball to he does. He still does. I looked at it again today. Totally look Ronan Keating. Go and have a look, folks. Game ball to Doug Baldwin.
Okay.
I think my prognostication game. I think this game is going to be just like it's going to be an opportunity for referees to dry those little yellow hankies they have. So I think there's going to be lots of those flying about. I think one player will be ejected. I'm not going to be specific about the team.
Okay.
But I think that a player is going to be
Player
sent off in this
ejected.
game.
That's good. Yeah. Whew. And you guys got to remember now. Remember Ram rules and Ram rule number 5.
Leading up to every kickoff, let's slow clap it out.
Slow clap it out, baby. Every time. That's close. Okay, something like that. Okay. My turn. And every year the schedule comes out, and damn it, we have to play each division foe at home and on the road. So here we go to Los Angeles because we have to play the Rams, who've won 5 out of the last 7 times they've hosted the Seahawks. And added this already, tough pill to swallow. The Rams are in first place, a game ahead of the Seahawks. But swallow this pill we shall, and we shall spit it back in the face of all the naysayers. No Carson, no Averill, no problem. Watch my game ball, Thomas Rawls. That's right, Thomas Rawls. Score a touchdown. He's also my prognostication. That's how much I believe in him. As the Seahawks show the rest of the NFL world who's still in charge of the NFC as they roll over the Rams because they are not ready yet. By a score of Seattle Seahawks 27, Los Angeles Rams 16. Slow clap that out. Slow clap that. All right. Well, looks like it's time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man Fan Jam show to a sad close. We are so glad you decided to waste some time, and we hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned a little something. What did we learn on this episode 513 of your 12-man Fan Jam show? Well, we learned that Statsman Mark doesn't trust anyone with a visor. We learned that...
Mother.
Yeah. Russell Wilson isn't a very hygienic man. Studying is cheating. Russell also takes 30-step drops. I did not know that. We learned that Milton Berle made board games. Maybe my favorite line of the whole night. And finally, Dustin wants a running game so bad. So, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, our new sound Shadowhawk Will, Statsman Mark, who's here,
Yes.
and Dustin as the Beaver, Roger Goodell, Mosette, Little Mo, Vince Ferragamo, Eric Dickerson, Buddy Hackett, Sheila McRae, Art Carney. Good night, everybody, and go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Look, clap it out, people. Come on. Do
I
it.
don't want to.
Come
I don't
on.
care. Nobody
Do
cares.
it. Oh, God, we sound so white. Okay.
I reach
They're
around
really
and
bad.
go for the sack. I don't stop till I put him on his back. Ram it.